We don't pay to use their computers. I said, we don't pay to use their computers.
Well, I think we do if there's ways we can do it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yep. Microphone on? You got yours on? Okay. Okay, we'll bring this meeting to order now. Charles, you want to bring the implication?
Father, thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. Thank you for the blessings of this country. We pray for our leaders. We pray for the leadership in our state and our community. And we ask that what part we play in that you guide us with your Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Janet, we need you on this flag salute.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go ahead and have a roll call.
Trustee Anthony's here. Trustee Calhoun.
Here.
Trustee Cross.
Here.
Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Reed.
Here.
Vice Chairman Shear.
Here.
Chairman Thorpe.
Here. All right, let's just go to the order of business. First one is consideration action of approval of the minutes. We'll start at the regular meeting called meeting of December 9th, 2020. Anybody have anything on that?
We discussed having a change at the last meeting.
Yes, we
In the
did
minutes.
discuss that, and it was entered on the minutes, but we haven't actually voted on it, so we just need to vote on the change. To approve the fund request with the payment being made through Imagine Durant.
It's not on the minutes though, the change we made. Huh?
On number 5,
Yes.
So you're saying it's not revised?
We didn't put on there that the request was made by is it Imagine Durant? Or they?
yes, that was brought up at the last
That's
meeting.
what
Yes,
I
with Curtis
recall
and
us
them.
bringing up, and we had agreed among us, but didn't vote on changing, putting that in there, that the request was made from Imagine Durant.
Right. So they were amended to be made that the requests would be paid through Imagine Durant. And so that's what we have on there on page 2 under item 5.
I'm looking under item 5.
Yes, but like the last sentence of the
Yes.
approved part.
But it was Imagine Durant who brought it up.
It was, Cara Bird and Curtis Armour were who presented it
And
for Roger Brooks, and that it would be that the payment, that Imagine Durant would kind of be the
Umbrella.
leader, the umbrella and leader over.
I think in the discussion part of it, that needs to be in there.
So
it
you
says
would,
who
so
was
you would,
asking
you
for
would
it.
like for them to read Cara Bird with Imagine Durant
Discuss and
presented?
consider approval of request from Imagine Durant for the Durant Master Plan.
Well, but the heading
I think there
of,
was multiple agencies though here supporting it, right?
right, and the heading of the minutes read exactly how that agenda item was read, because that's,
Yeah, 'cause I
the
think
heading
Blue
that's
Zones was
bolded
part of
there,
it.
it's exactly how that agenda item read that day. So, I mean, we can make another note within the minutes that that she was there and that it was Imagine Durant that was there. But as far as,
I understood, it was Imagine Durant members who were making that request.
I mean, there were,
I
Well,
think
we
there was, I
we
think there was
discussed
it.
there was multiple.
Yes.
There were
Because it's
multiple
Main
Multiple
Street.
agencies
It's Main
behind it.
Street.
Yeah,
Durant,
Main
and-
Street
Yes.
was there, Blue Zones was there.
yeah, and Blues.
Now,
yes, they were all
Curtis
there.
was representing Imagine Durant since he's on the board, right?
No,
I don't
Curtis
know
was
if-
representing the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
He's president of the chamber.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on Imagine's board or not.
He is on the
He
Imagine
is,
Durant board
yeah.
as well, but
So which one
So-
was representing Imagine Durant?
Kara,
Kara. So it was multiple entities that brought it together, and then it was going to be that the payment would be made through Imagine Durant, and then they were going to kind of be the umbrella, so to
Right,
speak.
because they
So
were kind
that's
of our
why,
go-between in getting him here. so.
correct.
Charlie, what exactly are you unhappy about? What are you
I'm
saying it doesn't
I'm
say?
unhappy because the question that was put to the trust was not labeled properly.
The,
And you can change that in the minutes.
the question or the agenda item? I'm confused. I don't know what,
Well, when I say question, I'm talking about agenda items.
okay, but there wasn't a question on the agenda item. There was a statement of discussion.
Well, yep, discuss and consider approval of that's the question. That's why it was brought up.
Okay, but what are you, I'm still not understanding what you're wanting, how you're wanting it to read.
Well, I just got through saying how I thought it should read. Discuss and consider approval of RFQ funding requested by Imagine Durant. If we wrote a check to somebody that wasn't even in the question, that's a wonderment to me.
Brandon,
Okay.
you can put on that since you're in the financial.
But
Yeah, I mean, I look at it more from a sense of, I guess they presented it, but I feel like Blue Zones, Main Street, and Chamber were all in it together, right? But I think one of our comments was somebody has to own it.
Correct.
And that's where we brought in Imagine
Imagine
Durant,
Durant.
said, hey, we'll own it
Well, on
for
our-
that too.
And I agree, that's what happened, but on our request for documentation, we're supposed to have a document presented by the requesting party. or parties.
Who's it made to?
So what you're saying, the document wasn't here for us to look at.
there was a document.
There
This
was.
question
There was a
here.
document.
I wasn't at this meeting,
Sure.
so I'm not,
Are you saying that the document needed to be attached to these minutes?
No, I think you said, instead of Cara Bird, Curtis Armor, you actually have the name of the organization there. Is that right? Does that follow that, Charlie?
and that's who the check was written to 3 days after the meeting, which was before these minutes were approved. And now we're at the stage where we're approving the minutes after the fact, but there's not a whole lot we can do about that right now.
And I know that we brought that up about funding it before we approved the minutes, but apparently the lawyer or legal counsel said it would be okay, right, Janet? Is that
Right.
what
That
you heard
was,
with you?
that's what he discussed with both myself and with Jennifer. He said he saw nothing wrong with it. If that was the city's policy, that he saw nothing wrong with
I
doing
may
it.
be wrong.
So I would say as though, as far as changing the agenda item, someone in the city is far more knowledgeable. We
Yeah.
can't change how the agenda item reads in the
John?
minutes, can we? I wouldn't,
John,
no, yeah.
don't you all approve the minutes before you write checks?
No, sir.
No.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. that's
You
what
would
the
never get
law
anything
is.
done, would you?
In the state of Oklahoma, the minutes are actually official. They have to be done 5 days after the meeting. It is really a formality that
The
that
attorney-
bodies approve them.
There's an attorney general's opinion that say that it needs to be approved. Now, you can approve it anytime you want to. But the body that is acting has to approve the minutes. The minutes may be misunderstood.
Not for a
by
municipality.
whoever.
I don't know, the county stuff might be different, but for municipalities, that is not the case. They're official 5 days after the meeting when,
I'll
when
try to remember.
the clerk
make a
has to
copy
approve
of
them.
that and show it to you.
yeah.
So you
Governing
have to-
bodies approve them. It's a formality. It's not anything actual.
So as long as you get the votes to do it, and you said 5 days after you can write a check?
No, sir. The minutes are official. Right? When the clerk produces the minutes, they're actually official
What if
minutes.
the clerk misunderstood something in the presentation or something that was given during the presentation? And even a typo, for instance. Those things need to be right. And that's what this Attorney General's opinion said. And he also brought in the fact that Robert's Rules of Order are gone by also in addition to what the Constitution says.
So really what you're saying, it should be discussed and consider approval of RFQ funding for Durant Master Plan by Imagine Durant. You would like to have Imagine Durant in that?
Yes.
But I think what Jennifer's saying
That's
though,
the
this
agenda
is,
item.
this is how it was on the agenda.
Yes.
And so that's what we're trying to match. You can't really change.
You
that
can't change that
wording
item.
Because it was on the agenda that way. If it wasn't on the agenda that way, you could change it, but.
Right. That's correct. That's correct.
Any more discussion? Do you want to take no action? Do you want to go ahead and,
I want to make a motion that we approve the minutes as read.
I'll second it.
got a motion by Janet and second by Debbie. I can have a roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
I wasn't at the meeting. I'm not going to vote.
Abstain.
Trustee Cross,
I was not at that meeting either, so I don't know what happened. So I was,
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Reed,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Chair,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Let's go to B, special meeting, call meeting of February 24th, 2021. Got us some discussion on that?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Got a motion by Janet.
Second.
Danny seconds it. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
Trustee Cross,
yes,
Trustee Johnson,
I wasn't at this meeting, so I'll abstain.
Trustee Reed,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Chair,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes. While we're on this, really on number 5, just putting what I believe in, we should make it more definitive on how we're funding this and have everything involved. That way, if anybody is looking in on our meeting, they're just looking at RFQ on that. But we need to make it more definitive and explain who's getting the money and all that. So that's just my point. So let's just go ahead and go to the other one. So we're looking at special meeting call on March 4th, 2021. Have any discussion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
a second.
Got a motion by Brandon, got Janet seconding it. Got a roll call?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
Trustee Cross,
yes,
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Reed,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Number two, review the DTEDA financial reports for January 2021.
Yeah,
I do have, before we get into that, I do have a question. One of the trustees wasn't entered into any of the voting that was here on the last one that we approved. I think it was Vice
Johnson,
Chairman
Share.
Shearer was.
And it says that he was here on the,
It says he was here, but see, he didn't vote one way or the other.
I think you're on, I think, Charlie, this is the fourth. It's on page, look at page 10.
Well, I don't, mine aren't marked, but
Yeah, I think
I'm
it was actually Jim that wasn't there.
on the-
Yeah, I wasn't there.
no, that's not on.
Jennifer, do you have an extra copy of those that have he printed his off and apparently they don't have page numbers on them? Thank you. I hear Charlie, these are numbered. Yours probably didn't print it. Here. Get over here, too. Right here, this last one. Page 10 of 96. And this is the March the 14th.
Are you saying you don't think they had a quorum?
It's a special meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. Vice Chairman Danny Sheriff called the meeting to order.
I knew he did, I was there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's on there. Vice Chairman Sheriff. Vice Chairman Sheriff declared a quorum.
Mhm.
Okay. Vice Chairman Sheriff. It looks like he voted on all of them.
He did on that one, the one before is what I'm talking about. See, this one that doesn't show his vote, was he not here?
On 6, no, Danny wasn't, I don't believe Danny was here at that one. He wasn't there at that one at all.
It said here, a motion was made by Vice Chairman Shearer and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. And then I vote for Calhoun, Cross, Reed, and Thorpe.
Okay, which one are you reading? Which minute is that?
Well, with the page not being numbered, I get that.
Okay, that's what, I don't know how that ran off because they're not consistent. Okay, approved, right there. A motion was made by Trustee Anthony, is that the one?
No. Right here at the
Let's
top.
look on the front of this page and see which.
Are you looking at the February 24th minutes that he needs to be added in on the ayes in the votes?
Yes.
Okay,
This one is, you may want to go back there. This is-
And when I got these, they were all jumbled up and I couldn't tell, but I noticed that he had made a motion, so he was there. And he hadn't been included in any of the votes of that meeting.
Okay. Did you pull that off of your system?
I pulled it off, yes.
Okay.
What you all emailed.
Okay. These are numbered. These are what she pulled off.
That's not what she sent to me out there, or my system's not taking the numbers.
That's what I'm wondering, is maybe at the bottom of that, they were numbered when you mailed them out,
Yes.
correct?
yes.
Okay, so apparently
Well,
it's
there's
not
one
printed
God.
on. But the correction that you're wanting made is that he did not vote.
But he did vote.
he needs
He
to be
needs,
added.
he needs to be
Yeah,
added on
this-
the
this is the
list in the
catch.
minutes,
Okay.
is what we need.
Yeah, he's not in here anywhere.
And that was on February the
The 24th minutes.
Okay. Then we're going to have to go back and amend those.
Well, it should be that a motion can be made to approve the minutes with that change.
It's already been voted on.
A motion.
Not with the change, it wasn't.
No, not with the change. You're right,
My,
Charlie.
So
my pages were mixed up and I thought it was from another meeting.
Right,
Right.
right.
I knew he was here at the meeting that he didn't vote on anything.
Then we need to rescind that vote and go back and re-vote on that one.
On
You want
which,
me to make a motion to rescind that,
on which day?
the February 24th?
February 24th?
Mhm.
Yes, we're gonna have to
You
make them.
rescind,
I make a motion to rescind the vote that was just taken on February 24th
to make the change.
to make, and then we need a motion with the changes on it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
It's got a motion by Janet, second by Debbie, on the meeting of February 24th, 2021. So we just need a roll call, I guess, on that.
Debbie Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
I wasn't here, so I'm
Oh,
not gonna vote.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
I was not here either, so I want to abstain.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. So we're bringing that back up at the next meeting.
No,
No,
you
we're not.
go ahead and vote on
Oh,
it now.
Okay. All right. Now, we've already got past the special call meeting on March 24th, right? Or 2021? Are we
I
looking at
believe
that?
now it's a motion to approve with the correction.
Yes. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of February the 24th with the correction stated by Mr. Calhoun.
I second it.
Okay, we got Janet making a motion to,
Debbie seconded.
yes, and Debbie seconded and have a roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun, abstain.
Yes,
Trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Abstain.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
trustee Shear. I'm
Yes.
sorry, chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Going down to C again, special call meeting of March 4th, 2021.
Didn't we already vote on?
Yeah, we
We
voted
did.
on that one.
We've already voted on.
Okay.
Okay, we're going back to it again. Anybody got any more questions on that? We did on February 24th. Do we have anything on that? We've already voted. Okay, right? Any more questions?
No.
Okay, then we're going to number 2, review DTEDA financial reports, January 2021.
Yeah, I'll run with this one. So if you have page 11 shows income and expenses for both current month or January, as well as a year-to-date versus budget. So for January current period, it's 26,000 revenue, 11,462 in expenses, or other expenses, sorry, 11,503 in total expenses. If you look on the pages, has a little breakdown of what everything is. On page 15 shows the lodging tax revenue, and on a historical front, it shows you what last year versus this year. With that, I will open up to any questions.
15.
It's on the back side, Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, did you get it?
I guess everybody's concerned as I am about our numbers.
Yes, Charlie, I am concerned. I think that we still have a test in front of us with, when we open the 1,000 rooms at the Choctaws, to see how that impacts our hotels that are in the area. I know that that will bring additional people to our area, but as far as revenue received from the lodging tax, I think it will impact it, and I definitely think it's something that we need to keep a very close eye on as we move into the
I
future.
think we're gonna have to keep it in the back of our mind when we propose a budget.
Well,
I'll put it this way, you look at the lodging, the budget, and you look all the way through January the 2021, this looks pretty bad. But if we'd have been outside of Durant, Oklahoma, I've talked to my district manager, director in Oklahoma City. In Oklahoma City, well, we're running 40, 35, 40 rooms a night. They're running 14 and 15 rooms a night, and they're hurting bad. And we're still doing the same thing. I think when they open up, it'll be good. Will ours fall a little bit? Yes, because you got 1,000 rooms up there. So we do need to watch, because I don't think this year is going to compare any close to last year or the year before.
Well, we've got to keep this in mind on all of our grants that we make also. I noticed that, and maybe I'm reading it wrong because I had my papers messed up, but I noticed that on the amount of money that we started the year with in the account that's not entered into our budget account, that we've spent approximately, just round off, around $300,000. And I don't know how we spent it. Out of that account.
So that's also a question I had, Jennifer and I are going to get with Ann Chin on that, just to figure out, hey, what is I want to show what our actual cash balance is to confirm, right, for us. And so we can email that out to the board.
And did anybody discuss with you the discussion we had? You weren't at the last meeting, were you?
I was with the attorney, with Mark here. I wasn't at the
You were on
February
Zoom.
meeting.
I had made at the last meeting, it wasn't on the agenda, so we couldn't vote on it. I noticed it's not on there tonight either. But I thought that you as our treasurer should be the one that okays the release of a check.
For it. I think we've got it.
It's on there
I think
tonight.
we got it next.
We have it.
To talk about, so.
and we had a better March than we did last year, by the way.
That's great.
93% occupancy.
92%.
92%.
That's awesome.
So I think things are really looking up. So
92% occupancy rate.
Great.
Debbie, what do you attribute that to?
a lot of the construction workers,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It gets back to what I said a while ago. If it wasn't for the state and the Choctaws building, we'd be running 15 and 20 rooms. If you look back on July 2020, and this is the start of it, we almost gave 35,000 into the account that year, the year before. And all of a sudden, the next year, we didn't have but 19,000 this year. I mean, we're not there yet by far. I mean,
No,
we're coming
we're not.
up.
But
But also when,
I am seeing a lot more transient business stuff. A lot more people are traveling since
Sure.
the vaccine's been out.
That's good.
but you also know when the Choctaws open their casino, it's going to drop because you're not going to have the workers there anymore either.
Oh, yeah, workers won't be able to afford to stay there.
Yes. But we just have, like Charles said, we just have to watch and see what's going on and
absolutely.
make sure that we stay within our budget.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on the financial report of January 2021? That's it? Okay, we're going to take number 6 and go up to number 3. So we're just going to switch those two around. So we're going down to number 6 and it's discuss and consider approval of the unity statute.
I'll make a motion that we.
Well, we'll let them say a couple words and then we'll go.
They were supposed to bring us
Jim,
information.
I
We
know.
figured y'all wanted to hear from us again. I brought the picture again in case anyone did not see it last time. Charlie, you were here. Were you
Yes,
here?
I was not, no.
Come on up, ladies. I don't know what we need to say other than we'd like to know if you're going to give us some money.
There you go. That's it. Anybody else want to say anything?
What we had requested was the paperwork asking for the grant.
That was
Which I think
presented.
we've got now.
That was presented the day that they presented there.
Yes, I think we presented everything last month like we were supposed to, and the holdup was that the city attorney or your attorney was not here.
Yes.
And I believe he did notify John.
He rendered a decision by letter.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure everything was lined up in order.
Yeah, as soon as we get this approved, we're ready to start.
Yeah.
And if y'all wanted to make it 35, we'd be happy to take it. So we don't
Okay,
want to
change it
ask for
35?
Where will it be located at?
If the city can guarantee us more occupancy throughout the year, we can do
Well,
it.
we're thinking that it's gonna bring in a lot of tourists.
I think so.
We know, because we're gonna try, if you, with your help or either with us, we're gonna put a brochure in all the hotel rooms. And I really believe, I could be wrong, but I really believe a lot of Choctaws that are down there are gonna wanna come up and visit. And I think people riding by, if they see it, we're gonna have it lit at night. And I know if I'm riding somewhere, well, not at night, but in the daytime, if I see something interesting, I get off and look at it, and it might be a neat little town, I spend the night there.
And I also
Is there any
think,
kind
also,
of a-
You wanna see this chart?
No, I remember seeing it. Is there any kind of a marker explaining why it's there? And
There will be, yeah. That was a big part of what, when we talked about doing that, we started talking about the flag first.
sure.
What we wanted to do.
And I've seen it other places in Oklahoma City and other places. I think if we push hard enough, we can get the state of Oklahoma to put that as maybe a historical well, it can't historical, but they can literally put it in there where people will turn off and see that. I think number two is I think the Choctaws will advertise it out there in their rack. What I know and what other people know is that when the people come to the Choctaw Casino, Janice said that before, they never turn and come this way. They go to the Choctaw Casino, you got about 75% of people from Texas, they turn around and go back. This gives us something, even in the Choctaw Rack, where what it is, they come down through here. They know that there's a city down here too. So I think it's going to help benefit the city simply because it's going to pull all the Texas people past the casino, that a lot of them never turn and come.
Janie, have there been any thought of doing this in the downtown area? I had a couple people call and suggest that to me.
So what?
It had turned out to kind of coincide with some of the talk about an archway.
Right,
I think that was going
right.
on in the city.
Putting it in the downtown area.
So we're changing the plan?
No, no.
So I was at the meeting when it's presented. Where's it
It's
going to be
out on
located
the
at?
highway.
It's going to be located out at the Washington Street exit, actually on ODOT property, because it'll be easily seen coming from north and south.
Okay.
And that's what we're hoping. And people that come off the interstate or off of 75, we want to have some signs pointing down Washington, because you can go straight down Washington and get to town, or you can go down Gale Farrell, take a right, and you get to town. So as far as if they're coming down the expressway, even if they stop and stay in a motel, they're going to want to get out and kind of look around and see what's available. And I think this needs to be by itself because of the impact. Janie and I talked about maybe later on having an archway downtown, but this, to me, it needs to be something out by itself because of what we're trying to do. We want it to be, to stand out. And we also would like to have, when we do get it all finished, we would like to have a big, I guess, a big blowout, you can call it.
Sure.
We want to invite people here. We want to invite all the Choctaw Tribal Council. Hopefully we can invite like people from Oklahoma City area, maybe the Chickasaws. In other words, we want to make a big deal out of it. And I'm sure they'll either spend the night here or we can have a booth and set them up and send them to your hotels.
I think it'd be good if we could get some of the Irish dignitaries to come over here.
That would be wonderful. They
But I
talked
still
about
think-
that.
Yeah, we got, the state of Oklahoma has the green signs. What it is they have it for the restaurants, they have it for the motels, right on the road. I think they have another one for attractions too. I've seen it other places. And if we can get the state of Oklahoma to put it up there, they will pull off the road to see this unity statue. So,
Well, and right now, I think unity is so important, considering what's going on in our country today. And the fact that we could kind of start maybe something as far as unity goes, I think that would be extremely important. So,
sure. Thank you.
I'll
Do we have
make a
enough
motion,
information?
I'll make a motion that we grant the request of the city of Durant for this memorial.
I second.
Okay. We got a motion by Charles, we got a second by Janet. You get a roll call?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes,
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. So we have approved the $25,000 for the Unity statue, right? Okay,
That's the request they made on the paperwork.
Yes, that's correct, Charlie. And we are ready as soon as the people can get started now. We are ready to get the ball rolling.
okay, we coming in.
Okay, thank y'all so much,
Can't wait to
gentlemen.
see it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, let's just go back up.
Did you want to tell them about the Discover Durant logo?
Do what?
Did you want to tell them about the Discover Durant logo, that needed to be included? That Discover Durant needed to be included in, as part of the participation in it?
Okay, yeah, that'll be fine,
You need to state that.
yeah. About what now, about Discovery Durant, about putting this?
Yes, that it would be the city of Durant and the tourism authority
Yes.
thing.
That's part of what they agreed to.
And so-
when they give us a grant.
Yeah.
I mean, give us a request for a grant, isn't it?
Sure,
It is, but this wasn't
Discover-
a grant.
yeah, because it discovered the grant and the
Well,
trust authority.
I made a motion to approve it.
Yes, you did, for that.
But it wasn't a grant. It was a proposal.
And we granted what they proposed.
You did. Let's go to number 3, discuss and consider approval of adding second signature to all of the DTEDA invoices. So we're looking at a second signature. I see that in many places and on the boards that I've been.
So this was the item requested by trustee Calhoun to add a second signature, specifically trustee Johnson. And we've spoken with him to let him know that that's been requested, and he said he was fine with that as well.
And he would
So-
be doing that in his role as. secretary.
Treasurer.
I mean, treasurer.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
just make it more secure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we'd have our treasury making second,
So Treasurer Johnson and Trustee Reed will both be signing all of the invoices related to the Tourism Authority.
And I'll make a motion to add a second signature to all DTEDA, including trustee Johnson and trustee Reed.
okay? We got a motion being made on a second signature for all the invoices.
Should we say treasurer versus, that way it sticks
Oh,
with
Okay.
multiple
Okay.
roles, so.
I
The
agree.
second signature of all the DTEDA invoices by the
For
treasurer.
the treasurer.
Treasurer
By
Johnson
Debbie?
and trustee Johnson.
And so do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All righty. Tammy says yes. So that's a second. So we need a roll call again.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
treasurer Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
I think maybe we need to abstain
oh,
since it's,
I wouldn't think so.
Think so. No.
yes,
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Number 4, discuss and consider approval of budget amendment for legal services.
Yeah, I'll run with that one. So we are, I guess, at budget for this fiscal year, under legal, at $5,000 is what our budget is. I think we have an outstanding invoice around 600, $600 to $700.
Yes.
So
650.
my recommendation would be to move 2,500 from the other projects categories. We haven't used any funds there. That's got just over 25,000 budgeted in that line item just to cover those expenses.
I'll second.
if you'll make the motion, I'll second.
Who's making a
I
motion?
thought he made the motion.
A recommendation.
He made the recommendation, I think.
Okay, you make the motion.
I make the,
Okay,
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
okay. We got a motion by Janet, second by Charles. Need a roll call?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed. Yes. Vice Chairman Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Discuss and consider approval of FY 2020 through 2021 draft budget.
Yes, I'll start with this one too. Probably get Jennifer to help me as well. So we wanted to get something on paper to discuss for it. And so if you look at page 18, it goes through what we're kind of a first draft, I guess, of our proposal. So start with revenue side, and so we had 400 in the budget for this fiscal year. We dropped it to 375, so 375,000. Interest earning revenue, we did 3,000. It might make sense to even bring that down even more to where interest rates are at right now for it. The probably one of the bigger changes on the revenue side was event boards, and what we did was combined, or we added additional funds for one of the billboards. And so if we allowed some folks or some folks, if we have grants of their event, that we could have, if they want to put a billboard up or something short term, that we could get revenue off of that. So just an idea.
Which, a reminder for those who were not here when we originally rented the Stokely billboards on 6975, that was the original intended purpose for the top billboard, was that we would rent that out to people to be able to change out a few times a year. So just a reminder on that.
So we estimated 2,400 in additional from an income perspective on that. And really, we have an expense to offset it. And so from a net number, it's pretty much zero, but at least it's a opportunity for them to showcase their event on the billboard. So that from a revenue standpoint, that leaves 380,800 would be total revenue on that. So flip to the next page, on page 19, going through expenses. And so prorated audit fees, we left it at 7,500. It was 5. So that's where I guess legal fees, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line item. So legal fees was at 5. We bumped that up to 7,500, kind of what we just approved there. From an advertising perspective, 65,000. We moved some things just to kind of get some more detail and clarity around. And so in that one, we actually moved our billboard, what we pay, and then some of our advertising with the radio station. And then marketing, text, digital as well. So just that was not just in one line item all together. We kind of have it broke out, create some visibility behind it of what that line item is for us. Grants. This year's budget was 125. We're keeping it the same at 125 for next year as well. Event boards, this is what I was talking about, the $2,400, and so it's kind of a wash from the revenue and expense side. Promotions, this is where we took the 65 out of, and so it was together in that, combining that number, and so it was 182,500, dropped it down to 100 in promotional advertising, and then conference shows we dropped down to 15,000 for it. So left total expenses of 402,900, and then we also, from other projects, we took that out of that 25,000. We really didn't need it because if it would go in promotion or grant, or actually go in promotion, advertising, sponsorship is where we've been using those funds at anyway. One thing we will do, to Charles' point earlier, is the budget too, is have a kind of beginning cash. Here's revenue, expenses, ending cash for it as well. So with that, Jennifer, I don't know if I've missed anything, but if you have anything you want to add.
No, I think that was pretty much everything. So the other thing I would point out though is the 65,000 that we moved up in advertising and publications. If you above that, it says those are contractual expenses. So that's how we chose which funds of advertising moved from the general one down at the bottom up to this one are ones that we have contracts under. Our monthly fees with the billboards, the radio advertising, we have contracts with them and pay them monthly. That's how we chose which funds went up into that one.
Now, how much do we have in our account that doesn't show up on our statement?
Well, if I'm looking at this right, so Jennifer was talking about before the meeting, I believe it's the 732,951, but that's what I've got to confirm, Charlie, on that, just with Ann Chin, just to make sure that's the number, because we didn't get a balance sheet to show what cash was on there.
And is there some way that we can show that all the time?
I will make sure from now on, from a financial side, is we at least get a balance sheet to reflect what our cash balance is for everybody. Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
We got to know that.
Any more questions about the 2021 draft budget?
And another thing I will also add is this is just our first draft, as the meeting before us was stating. They have to approve budgets in May. I believe that's what they said. So, I mean, this is just a draft budget. This authority will have to approve the official budget from the city at another meeting.
I
So
think what they do is they just accept what we present as our budget.
the way I understood it is, so we will present this to them. They will add in a few things, like we left prorated audit fees blank because they fill that every year because it's based off of their calculations.
I think there was an estimated amount in there.
Yeah, and
Did we
it's
put it in this?
not, I mean, it doesn't look like it's much. I
Right.
think
It's not much.
$345 is what we're.
Right. So we present what we like. We present what we want. They may just completely accept it. They may add a few tweaks, but we will bring back whichever way they give it to us.
Shouldn't we put in there what we're proposing in our budget for?
We are. That's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, we can match it. That's what.
Yeah.
I thought. And they can tell us if it's different. So we could just put, they have 829, or we have 829 in our current budget. So
Right.
I'd almost propose just put that in there. At least there's a number in it.
Okay.
Yes, discuss and consider approval for this. Is there a vote on this?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion by Janet. Got a second by Charlie. Any more discussion? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. It's always good to have a banker as a treasurer.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. All right, let's go back and number 7, discuss and consider approval of grant applications, Durant Riding Club. Discussion on that.
So we did this last year. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, yes. I think we have funded them fully the last 3 years and
Yeah.
they always exceed our expectations
It's a
on.
great event. I went
Yes,
last year. so,
yes, they always do a huge
Yeah.
one.
Yes,
So,
and they bring a lot of people to town.
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. Very
And
nice.
I don't know if anybody has seen, but they did actually even get awarded that they are like,
Yes. What is-
you might need to help me on this. They've always been a pro rodeo, but they almost kind of got to go PRCA, thank you. So even a step up. So they're even planning a bigger event this year than what they've had in the past.
Well, the rodeo they
So-
had just, a week or two ago, it brought a whole.
The
bunch of people.
Southeastern, yes.
Many
Yes.
times it brings in from about 4 or 5 states, Kansas and New Mexico, all that. So they do.
Yes.
We usually give them, what, $10,000 a year?
Yes.
So one time.
I make a motion that we grant that $10,000 for this rodeo.
Durant Riding Club.
Right.
Yeah,
Durant Riding Club.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, we got a motion by Charles. Brandon had a second. Roll call. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. You can look on their major contributors, and Choctaw Casino always gives them 12,500 every year. You got our trust authority giving them 10,000. You got Stewfield giving them 6. You got Carnegie Glass giving them 1,100. You got Freedom CDJR giving them 1,000, and then our Western Ware does it too. So they get in quite a few grants, which is good, but it does bring in a lot of business. All righty, let's go to the next one. We're talking about Durant Main Street.
So one thing I would like to mention on this one, again, I believe there's some that was not here. Do what?
30, no, 30.
Again, I believe there was some members that were not here when we did this previously. You know, Stephanie Gardner with Durant Main Street never sleeps and has many events. And so in the past, you know, she would bring in an application over and over. And in October of 2019, what the authority did was say, we're going to give you one grant, use it on the events that you want for the year. And that's what was voted on and that's what was chosen. So that was October 2019. She has not brought any grant applications in for this fiscal year. So she's not done her cap for this year or anything like that.
Was there anything paid last year in 20?
So, I mean, we go by fiscal year. So the
Okay.
last fiscal year, she got her
19
10,000.
19 to
19, June of 2019 to June, end of June 2020. So she did get that one. That's when we capped that 10,000. But this fiscal year, 2020 to 2021, she has not received any funding from us. No.
So this would be her one-time funding.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
We made this back when Dennis Garrett was here. I talked to him about 6 to 9 months ago, something like that. And that's what we do. We give them a one-time.
Yeah.
Usually we give this in December when they're giving away, what, $5,000 cash? We did it last
The
time.
first grant application that she did was in December. The second one that she brought in was in October, and it was going to be for some fall events that year. And so that's whenever we did on the cap of the one time. And
Yeah, I know
so,
when Dennis was on here, you know, they're gonna come back 1 or 2 times, and he just said, let's just give them $10,000, and that way they can use it what they want to during the year like that. So,
right.
any other discussion on that?
I know we voted on it at that time, but
Yes.
opposed to that, and it was unanimous.
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the grant and fund the $10,000.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Janet, we got a second by Debbie. Have a roll call?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes, with the understanding that this is for a year. total.
Trustee Cross,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Reed,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Thorpe.
Yes.
I would make just a comment to Charlie's point. I mean, maybe not, like, I think this is specific just to one event. It'd be good to kind of get an overview. If we're doing one for the whole year, right, just for future reference. It'd be good just kind of get, hey, what's going on for the year and things like that.
So would the authority want maybe more of a like end of the fiscal year, we get an overview of what happened for that year or?
Well,
So-
I think even on the ask or the form itself,
Mhm.
it's only specific for the June 18th and 19th event is what they're proposing for.
Right.
And so I think versus what we all approved in 19, it's more for, hey, it's for the whole year. Here's the grants. I would think the application would almost reflect that in the future.
So you think, so next year her grant application needs
Yeah,
to
it
be
would-
more of not
it
a,
would-
this,
it would
not
be
a
more
specific
not-
event, but of
This
a,
would
this
be
is what we
one-
would do.
One
Like
of
annual.
5, one of 10, whatever that is, right?
Okay.
Here's, as a Durant Main Street, here's what I'm doing for the year, and here's what we'll be supporting. right?
Okay.
I think it just matches how we're approving it.
Isn't that what the city does with their,
They renew their contracts, yes, and well, they all left me. I believe they renew their contracts at the beginning of each fiscal year. So if that's something this board would like to consider, maybe creating something, I would say we go with the grant like we have done in the past, though, for specific events on
Yeah.
that, because that could open a different thing, but.
it is a contract that the city works on, but I do not recommend that because if we do, we're opening up a can of worms.
do what?
Back on. I said, the city does work with a contract. But if we do that, we're opening up ourselves to, first of all, we've got to approve it. If it's a contractual agreement, that means that we're in it for that year. The grant does basically the very same thing without committing on a year-to-year basis for it.
They have to like basically reapply every year, so we're not just saying
Yes.
we're gonna do it.
Yes. And we can just make sure to request next year when she is filling out her grant that she puts more of, these are the events that this grant
Yeah,
will
it's almost like a little bit
encompass for that
bigger
year.
picture, right, for
Okay.
it versus, because it's only, if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at one event is what it's proposed versus
Yeah,
kind of how we approved it, right, would be for everything, so.
okay, we'll be sure to let her know.
Okay, anything else on Main Street?
We did take a roll call, didn't we, Debbie?
Yes.
We did, didn't we? Okay. Okay, number 8, discuss and consider approval of advertising. The first one is billboard vinyl change. How long has it been up there? 2 to 3 years?
I believe the Stokely one has been 2 years and the Massey one has been about a year. So we would like to change that, get those reprinted, put a fresh ad up there. On page 78 is a copy of the contract that we originally had with Stokely where he put on there what it would be to reprint for a 12 by 40 ad, which is $1,200. And then on page 79, right behind that, Texoma Manufacturing was who did our vinyl for the West Side Drive billboard. And so we called them and their pricing comes in now at $1,395. So we're requesting a grand total of $2,595 to replace both billboards.
That's for this fiscal year, correct?
Yes, that will be for this fiscal year.
Okay, and we're looking at doing that twice a year. I know not for this year, but
Right, next year we did include in the budget that it would be to change out our billboards twice a year. Again, remembering the top billboard at Stokely, the plan of that was to rent it out. We actually do have some people interested in doing a final change out on that one and renting it for a couple of months. It's the Magnolia Festival, so they'll be doing that with us to get a vinyl change out done up there. So. But for the bottom ones, for the ones that are ours, we need you guys to approve funding for us to be able to change that.
I make a motion that we approve the cost of the vinyl change.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead, Tim. I'll second it.
You second it? Okay.
Keep it.
You made a motion for the vinyl change. Janet did. Debbie made the second. Have a roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes,
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. I've got to tell you on the Durant Main Street, on the major contributors for there is the city of Durant's 30,000 and Oak Ridge Nursing Home is 1,000. So, they do pretty good on that too. Okay, so we're on 8B, Oklahoma Fishing Guide advertising.
So the rate sheet and the information for that one is on page 80 in the packets. This is very similar to the travel guide and the outdoor hunting and fishing guide that we advertised in earlier in the year. The main difference, of course, with this one is it is related directly to fishermen traveling in Oklahoma. We are a part of their path. They have recently even put up like road signs on highways. I don't know if anybody's been going towards or coming back from, but they've got those up. And so we're a part of that. And so they send this guide out. They had 100,000 distributed. So we'd love to be able to advertise in this and get those fishermen, especially if they're coming to Lake Texoma, get them to come and stay in a Durant hotel when they're coming. We would-
There's a bunch of them already out here practicing.
Yes,
and this has been-
absolutely.
This has been one of the best publicized brochures that the Oklahoma Tourism Department had partnered with.
Yes. So we would request a premium ad to be able to get in one of the first 6 pages of the brochure. Would definitely be our top choice.
Now,
Make a
what
motion to approve it.
did we give for that as a grant?
Talking about the
I'm
Oklahoma
so-
Fishing Guide?
The
What are you talking about, Rick?
package that we ran in Oklahoma, not Oklahoma Today, I'm sorry, in the travel magazine, and they also did the vacation guide. Yes, it was the second similar that was a package deal, and I believe that was at 6,900, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But that was a package thing that they put together.
Yes, that
They
did.
didn't have this involved.
They didn't at that time.
No, yeah,
They do now.
yes.
No, that's not included in it. This is a separate cost. I'm sure if we wanted to advertise and everything, they'd do a special deal for us, but they come out at different times of the year, is my understanding.
Any more discussion on the Oklahoma Fishing Guide ad?
It says the deadline is March 31st, so. Not
That's
very long.
today.
That's why we're asking y'all to approve it.
One day? Any more discussion on the Oklahoma Fishing Guide ad?
I'll make a motion to
Okay,
provide
good.
the $5,000 for the premium advertising in the Oklahoma Fishing Guide.
I'll second it.
I did just look, and it says book a second full page ad at another Oklahoma tourism publication and save 15 or save 10% with 2 different size ads. So I will definitely, or Jennifer. we will
We'll
talk
verify
more
with
about Definitely.
Did you say the $5,000 ad?
Mhm.
Okay, we got a motion by Debbie to give the Oklahoma Fishing Guide ad. It's a $5,000 ad. Have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Tammy seconds it. Got any more discussion? Need a roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Number 9, discuss and consider approval of grant applications, revisions, and project funding applications.
So this is the continuation of the one last month. We asked for approval to revise the grant applications and create a funding application for a spot to be included where when they are signing it, that they are agreeing that Discover Durant is a signature sponsor. I'm sorry, a chief sponsor of their event. And that all of their stuff, all of their advertisements will include the DTEDA logo. And also adding a separate list of attachments that we require if they are a for-profit organization, because currently we only have nonprofit, and like our fishing tournaments that had come in and stuff, they were not nonprofit organizations. So there was a little back and forth on that. So having it just listed on the grant application so that they know in advance.
So that's why we're having to change it. It's some of these that we've been doing it for the last 3 years is mostly nonprofit. And now we're
Correct.
getting into where some of these are for-profit, and so we're having to write another application for them.
Correct. So page 84 has the 2,500 and under, and you'll see the changes highlighted on there. And page 91 is for the 2,500 and a penny to 10,000, and you'll see the changes highlighted on there as well. The attachments, we just went off of what was there for nonprofit organizations. We just changed that we needed a copy of a W-9 and a business tax return that is for a for-profit organization. And the verbiage that is on both of them, Mr. Morrison did give those to us before he resigned. So that's where we got the verbiage to include on those. And then on the project funding applications, those were emailed out in the second email this morning that I sent. And we decided to do we did a 1-page application on there. This will be more for like the Unity statute that was just approved. This would be kind of more, yes, very more specific to where that way our grant applications can be for events. And if it is a different type of project, then they can go to the project funding. And that of course also has attachments for if they are a nonprofit organization and if they are a for-profit organization, as well as the same verbiage whenever they sign the application that we have on the grants.
And I am going to bring something up in this area. We can't vote on it this time, I know. But we have got to make a decision on if they present these or if they don't. Because we are flip-flopping And we can't do that. If
Um,
we have got,
We gotta be consistent.
we have got to be consistent.
Absolutely.
And so it's something that we can add to next month's agenda after this is taken care of, but we've got to make a decision on that.
And I would also like to add, I think we can't this month because we did not get it on the agenda, but I would like to add it next month. I mean, these revisions to this grant applications is for this fiscal year. We will start new grant applications for next fiscal year. And so next month, we will be trying to set forth metrics that these can be graded on. If we want to create a grant committee within us that also does the voting, kind of set our exact boundaries of how we want to handle grant applications starting with next fiscal year. So be prepared for that fun.
So really, it's better not to have them presenting their side. It can take 30, 45 minutes when people come up here and speak. And so we do have to do something about that. If we have 2 or 3 of them, we'll be here till 6 o'clock.
yeah.
So that is again, all stuff we can be sure to add to next month's agenda so we can get all of that figured out.
Maybe just have them come in if we have questions about the grant that they presented, that we might be interested in it. But this isn't on the agenda, so.
Yeah, so yeah, today is just if the authority approves and likes the changes made to the grant applications for this fiscal year and to the new funding applications.
Well, you can, as far as there being a whole bunch of people, you can set a time, like Jim said, they could take up 30, 45 minutes. You could just tell them you have 10 minutes to make your, you can spend.
Yeah, we'll have to bring that up on the next meeting. But you're right on that. So we're back on discuss and consider approval of grant application revision, project funding applications. Anybody have any more questions about that?
No, I'll make a motion for the approval of the grant applications revision and project funding applications for the next fiscal year.
I'll second.
Who is?
Tammy.
Tammy. Okay, so we had a motion by Debbie, second by Tammy, for the revisions. Have a vote?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes,
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Number 10, discuss and consider approval of open bid for legal services. I believe this is what our legal service, our last lawyer asked us to do, just have an open bid, right? Go ahead. Do you have any more?
Secretary Anthony was actually going to handle that one.
What we kind of talked about in the last meeting that you weren't here was maybe making a committee to decide which attorney we might want, or take the bids in through a committee and then present that to the board for approval. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe just like 3 members. I myself would be happy to do it. Janet and any of the other ones that might want to do it. Because I know she'll be very involved, so she probably won't say so.
Okay. Any more discussion? She's looking at having a committee of maybe 3 or 4 people looking at the approval of
On the bids for the
of open bids for legal services. So she's wanting to pick up a committee and go that route.
Well, I think a small committee could do the legwork, so then when whoever comes to present it to
A
everyone
committee
else.
can't
it'd
be
go
any
like-
larger than 3.
3.
So
Right,
the way we did it the last time was Jim himself, and he picked a couple of other guys to go with him. That seemed to work pretty good. We had a good attorney.
but the recommendation that Mr. Morrison gave us, if you'll look in his letter,
I saw
was to
that.
put it out for
Open
bid.
bid.
And I think that would be, Brandon made a very valid point when we were discussing the budget, that we probably need to do that, and then the contract for management as well. Advertise them both at the same
Well,
time.
You're gonna have to be real cautious when you put out the boundaries of the bid.
So that's why I believe that she was looking at there being a committee formed that would go over the bid and create it, put it out.
You would have to be
Accept 'em.
specific because you want to know how much it is per hour. If we're going to keep them in here 1 hour every meeting, whatever, but it's got to be specific. You're
It's
right.
gotta be specific.
They got to know what they're getting into. And they have to be at our meeting if we want them at every monthly meeting. So they got to know that too.
But they don't need to be at every meeting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'll get a committee and we'll figure out what we're gonna do. I'm just throwing
Yeah.
things out right now.
Not having the budget for the legal fees too, it's gonna
Yes, you gotta tell them the legal fees,
be specific to make sure that we're gonna,
because this is going out in the
Within
paper.
our
How many
budget.
times did it have to go out in the paper?
It has to be advertised in 3 different publications, I believe, for 30 days, doesn't it, Danny?
Not sure, something like that.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't hurt anything to do it for 45 days, would it?
Don't need to do it any longer than.
I don't what's necessary.
And what, yes,
John or somebody can tell us. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
We'll have to go probably by the recommendations of what the city clerk
Sure.
puts out for the
Mhm.
city.
Yeah, on that, we just, like I said, we'll go by the guidelines of the city. You're right. So do we want to get a committee?
Debbie, were you making a suggestion or a motion?
I would,
Okay, hold on a second. Who's ready to be on the committee? We got 3 or 4. Who's ready to be on the committee?
We only have 3.
you only have 3. That's all that
Yeah,
can be on.
Somebody's got to raise their hand.
I'll be glad to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will not be able to. So,
You wanted to be on it, Brandon?
yeah, I can't with what I've got going on the next 30, 45 days. So,
Danny, you wanna do it?
I'll be glad to help.
Charles?
I'll help with Janet's help because I know she's more familiar with all the guidelines and all that too.
I can help if you want. So me, you and Janet?
Danny, if you'd like to take my spot, I'll certainly let you.
He doesn't look like he's chomping at the bit.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, that's 3 will go.
Got enough to do, yeah.
So if you want to make a motion on that,
It'll be us 3.
Yes, trustee Reed, secretary Anthony, and then vice chairman Chair.
Chair. Okay, so
anybody want to make a motion on the,
I think.
so is it Janet or?
do we have to make a
I think it
motion on
was
that?
Jim. I think it was Jim.
I thought it was
We shouldn't
Danny.
have to make a motion on that, should we?
I think, Jim, you ought to be on it.
Yeah.
As chairman.
So what we'll be doing is just getting up a committee and doing that and then bring it back on our stipulations for the legal services, right? That's what we want.
I think all
So-
you really need to do is ask instructions from the city clerk,
Yes.
and she could advise you on
Yes.
what to put in.
Okay, so there's not a vote on that. So us 3 will look at that and whatever the city says, we'll go by. And then we'll bring it back and give it to the authority. And you don't have to even go back to the authority, I guess, do you?
We do have to discuss and consider approval of.
We
the
said
open
it shows
bid.
consider
Yes.
approval on the
Yes,
Yes.
agenda. So,
and you've named the committee. So,
Okay.
Okay, so do we have
This will
do we
be
have the
big.
committee correct? Janet,
no, it's Jim.
Jim, Danny, and Debbie. Okay,
mhm.
That'll just be, to come up with what in the bid that we put out.
Pardon?
It'll be what this committee, as I understand it, will determine what needs to be done as far as our putting in the newspaper or wherever we're gonna publish it,
Yes.
the boundaries and
But
Going by the
the
city's
city
guidelines.
clerk will probably have to be the guidance on that.
Yes.
well, the only guidance that she'll be able to be on that will be how to go out to bid.
Okay,
It'll be up to this group to determine what the specifications in the bid are.
well, I think that's what the committee is for, is to
That's
make
what-
those.
that's
Yeah,
what
Oh,
I'm
that's what
okay,
I'm
saying.
okay.
so the committee would bring it back.
So we need a motion to put it out for bid? Is that what we need?
Begin-
I would say we need a
begin
motion. I would
That's it.
We need a motion to approve the committee to form the bid that we are going to
Process.
put out.
Jim as chair has the authority to appoint that committee, but it's not listed. Discussion and consider approval of open bid for legal services.
So I would say we
Actually,
could just do no
That's what we
action.
have to vote on.
We're
Or
gonna-
take no action.
well, can't we, as a part of that process, start
Name
the
the-
process with this committee?
Name the committee.
So I'll make a motion that we start the process of approval for an open bid for legal services
With the committee
with the committee that,
of Debbie and me and Danny, right? Okay. We
Yeah, I'll
have, we have a motion on that. We have a second.
I'll make a motion to approve. Or second it. I'll second it.
Okay, Tammy, you're making the second?
Yeah, Charles made the motion and I'll second it.
All right, we got any discussion on that? Roll call?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
yes,
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman chair,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. Discuss and consider, number 11, discuss, consider open bid for website.
So one of the recommendations that was brought forth by Mr. Brooks was that our Discover Durant website is not performing as fully as it could. So we would like to request the authority consider putting the website back out for open bid and trying to relay it more specifically to a company that has expertise with tourism clients
now, what did
on
you,
that.
you say someone made a recommendation?
Mr. Brooks did.
And what was his recommendation?
It was,
Underperforming.
yes.
We needed to find somebody.
Well, all he simply stated was just that our website was not performing
yeah,
as it
'cause he can't
should.
say.
So, yes, so just from that, we are now making the request to maybe put it back out for bid and try to find more specifically to a company that deals with and is more specialized in tourism related.
How much are we paying for a website now?
We paid, gosh, I don't recall that off the top of my head, actually.
3,500.
Yes,
A year?
No,
no,
that was
Put it in.
created.
And I
yes.
think we got $3,000. We got a $3,000 job. We need a bigger job.
Yes,
If
I
we're
would
gonna,
agree.
we need to do it quality, like you said, and if it costs us $10,000 or $15,000,
It may cost
that's
more than
everything.
that.
Everybody, I don't care if it's 15,000, you don't want to waste money, but I'm telling you, my daughter-in-law and all my kids, if anybody underneath 50, when they're going down the road, they just click on the internet. That thing's better than a newspaper, or anything else you can get, because they just hit it.
It's better than spending money on billboards too.
Hmm.
Well, it's always good to have a couple, but yeah, this is big time, because this is where everything's going. It already is.
So I would say on this one, we could do the same as the last one. If anybody wants to volunteer to be on a committee to work on putting a bid process together and kind of start that process, or, We can.
I'll be glad to help with that.
okay.
When we do that, we're gonna have to have a price on it. I mean,
Yeah.
we gotta have this thing set up where they know what's going on.
What you need to do is do a request for a quote,
Mhm.
an RFQ, not an RFP, because an RFP would be a request for proposal. The quote's going to quote exactly what they will do for the cost.
Okay.
The proposal is all packaged together. So my suggestion would be that we go out for a request for a proposal. I'm sorry, a
Quote.
request for a quote. In other words, they're going to tell us they're going to do this, and this for X amount of dollars.
Sure, you're giving them guidelines and then setting it
Yes.
up and just throwing it out there.
And I'm
then-
not saying it wasn't effective, but I think we went with what we had monies or knew we had
Mhm.
monies for before. We've got to have more control to where we can input more things on a daily basis, the events. And right now, we do not have that type of control over that website.
And more interactivity with.
Yes,
Yes,
we need to have it available as Charlie wanted to begin with, to
We
where
do.
you have moving parts to it. We can put videos up. We did a live stream with Christy for the rodeo. That needs to be put on there. Any of the events, the presentation that Danny had at the tournament, the fishing tournament.
You can even show it on the
That needs to be on there.
rodeo, and you can
Those
show us,
moving things sell.
They
and you
did.
have to. Even on the rodeo, you can show,
We're gonna,
I was about to say, I would also
Yeah.
like to note it's 4:55, so I'm sure Byron doesn't want to stay here all night with us.
okay, so we're discussing and considering approval for open bid on the website. Any more discussion? Got a motion
I'll make a motion, we advertise for bids.
for the website?
Website.
Okay, we got a motion by Danny on an
I'll
open
second.
bid for the website. Second,
I'll second.
Brandon second. We have any more discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
yes,
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thorpe.
Yes. 12, informational items, marketing and tech report. What do we have there?
It's included in the agenda packet. He was unavailable to come to the meeting, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to him or myself, and I can pass them along to him. Clay Toma with Marketing Techs.
and I will be asking questions. I'm not sure that we're getting what we are paying for. And I discussed that with him, but I do intend to have a conversation with him. I want to see physically what we are getting.
Yeah,
And we had them for
what are we
years.
paying?
I don't have that in front of me.
So
by
it's in
month.
it's in the packet on the in-house report that I make. It'll show on there each month what we've been paying him since we started. We originally contracted with him for $27,950, and he's been running roughly $1,500 a month on these.
So how long have we had doing the marketing?
We approved him, let me get back to that page real quick. We approved him in June of 2020.
So that's his contract.
Yes.
Well, we did not sign a contract with him. It's on a
We did month to month, yes.
But by June, we can put that out for bids too, right then? On the website? Would you do that?
I think with the new website, we may not need that. Because I think they will include the geofencing with that, I think.
Well,
We
that
can
would offset
definitely
the
look at
expense of
that.
Spending more on the other two.
Yes, very true.
Are you saying to stay with this guy on the marketing?
She's saying we won't even need that if we upgrade our website to focus more on tourism, then we could probably
The
just. go with-
geofencing was to get a target market, was to determine the target market for us. I'm not sure that he's been able to do that. I'm not saying that COVID hasn't hampered it. But I think there's some hard questions that need to be asked to him so that we can, I want to see physically what's been done. How many have you gathered? What are the data? What's the data? We do have that in the back. He does have some specs.
Is this the campaign metrics?
Yes.
Yes.
And what he's saying is it's costing us $1.10 a click.
Well, the thing that I think I was most disappointed in, some of the things that he's listed in this campaign are things that Roger Brooks listed as not being effective, that we were not effective, that website was not. So that's when you go back and you begin to look at the website to see if that's not where you can actually collect the data from, which we have not been able to get those data resources.
So we just basically table this until you get further information about exactly.
This is an informational item. There's no
okay.
voting.
Okay.
Yep, it's just, that's where his report
Just
is.
information.
Yep, so, yeah, any questions you guys have? If you have any questions for him, feel free to direct it to Clay at Marketing Techs or myself, and I can pass those along to him as well.
There's not very many clicks to this website.
Right.
So Janet, you're gonna look into that.
Yes.
Yes, we will.
Okay, anything else on the marketing tech? Okay, let's go to grant information.
So this is, Chairman Thorpe brought this in earlier this week. There was a grant that was awarded to Ardmore for a new facility. We have a video to show of that. And then also I've reached out to Ardmore to kind of get information about what grants they used and just different ways they were able to fund this project. They were working on getting information to me.
And the background of this is that I saw it on the K10. Go
Yes.
ahead. Go ahead.
This is a clip, Charlie. of
Yes.
Something Jim saw.
And so what it is this is the Durant Main Street, the Ardmore Main Street there and what they did. It's been a few years back, but there's money out there to be taken if they'll do it. Go ahead.
Ardmore City Commission approved the requested amount of money for the Depot Park project.
K10's Tiger Allen joins us live in our Ardmore studio. Tell us more about this plan. Tiger, what were we able to learn about this upgrade to the park? It's good news.
$1.3 million are heading to Ardmore's Main Street Authority for the Depot Park project they've long awaited. Here are some photos from the authority's general manager showing off the future plans of the park. The general manager says they've received grants and donations that will soon make this project a reality. He says the park isn't built specifically for kids, but rather the whole community.
We're really building it for a festival type park where we can do tent festivals, we can do food trucks, we can have outdoor concerts.
The park will be built on the east side of the Depot district in front of the train tracks. DiMichele says they plan to begin work within the next 2 months. Live in the Ardmore newsroom, Tiger Allen, K10 News.
Black smoke over Sherman this afternoon.
And I know that the city of Durant has a lady in here because I've seen her when I come in here to the city council, that they have one that does grants and gets city mini grants. And, there should be a way maybe they could do that.
So we've reached out to Ardmore and they are to get that information on that. And they were going to get everything back to us. They just were not able to get it back to us by this afternoon. So they're going to get it back to us as soon as they can. And then that way we can help kind of get this information out to other entities in the city to let them know that this stuff is available. So we can hopefully help bring additional things to Durant. So.
Okay. All righty, let's go to number C, update on Roger Brooks's development.
That was attached to the second email that was emailed out this morning. That was his report that he did. It was about 200 pages. So if you have any questions on that, just feel free to email us and let us know.
I don't think, I didn't get the information in time. I don't think anybody else did. You got 600 pages is what you have. So we need to just.
It's a big packet.
Yeah, we need to take no action on that at all and
This
just.
is a bound book that I'm gonna look through.
Did you watch the actual video or join in on his?
That's what, this is the. still
That's what you
copies
did
of
for him. It was awesome.
And I did watch the videos on there too, about,
It was basically what Ardmore's doing is some of
Yes.
the information that he gave us that would improve the
And
community.
I understand that, but we gotta have some help from them too. And, at one time we had Donna Dow over here and he was talking about all these different things. She had concerts, about out there on the square for 10 or 12 weekends out of the summer. So, we've had some of this stuff before. The other thing that I was looking on his, and I didn't get to look at all of it, they're not putting up their own signs. He's saying they need to put up signs above their shop too. And the main thing that we was looking at even 2 and 3 years ago that was brought up that never was, I guess, listened to. But what we told them that, why don't you start staying open later, especially on Friday and Saturday night? He says Thursday, but we've asked, why don't you start staying open later? They close up at 5 o'clock. And guess what? Everybody goes home at 5 o'clock.
But this past year, it's hard to say why they did or didn't. They might not have the financial ability to pay somebody to work or something.
But on Saturday and Sunday, if you don't stay up until 7 or 8 o'clock, you're never going to get them downtown because everybody, if the downtown's not open, they're not coming. And will it do it in 2 months? No. But, consistently over a few months, they'll start coming downtown
It's helpful
on
to get
weekends.
so many restaurants and bars downtown too, where they will go in and shop maybe after they get done eating,
Yes.
which would be more cost effective for them to stay open. till
And I know it's going to be a hardship on them, but it's just like a new hotel opening up. If you think you're going to fill up the first time, you're going to do 5 and 6 and 7 rooms when you start up. Why? Because it takes time for people to find out you're there. And it's the same thing as Main Street. They can help us on this too. And would it be tough? And it's going to take some money out of their pocket. But, if you want people down Main Street on Friday and Saturday night, they tell me and my my father-in-law's time, and probably Charles knows this too, there used to be a lot of people that just come down Main Street and just walk around, right? And it can happen again, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm just throwing this out. We need some help and do that too. Anybody else have anything on that? We'll bring the Roger Brooks development up next time after we look through all 600 pages. Okay, number D, Durant Area Chamber of Commerce Activity Report.
So it's attached in there, a few things to make note of. We did send the commercial that was shown last month. And so that will start airing on Discover Oklahoma in April. So in a few days.
Awesome.
We've been working with Mix 96. They started their advertising that we approved with them very quickly. They tag us on social media every other day. They've been working on that. We worked with the Southeastern Rodeo when they were in town. They displayed our banner. We went out and we did a live shot to put on our social media. And then they also tagged us on an event and had our banner in the picture. And we also met with the FLW fishing series. That was the first grant that we approved. Their event was last weekend. So Vice Chairman Chair was gracious enough to go out for the photo opportunity with that.
Yay.
And they did present the authority with a thank you present. So I wanted to bring
There
that
you
to
go.
show everybody.
That's nice.
So there's that. So in any,
Did y'all in the hotel business have anybody stay with you
Mhm.
that was?
There were boats, I noticed at the Holiday Inn
Yeah, we had several.
and some at the Quality Inn too, that were visible. that I
Yeah, and
saw.
I didn't see a whole bunch of boats, but I saw, how many people when you went out there, how many looked like in the tournament out there, when you went out there to accept that?
They had 300
Yeah.
teams is what he told us.
That's
I
good.
couldn't tell, and it was really difficult because we were getting there to do this right whenever they were going to be beginning their way in. So a lot of the fishermen were still working on making their way. I'm sorry, anglers were still working on making their way in. So it was really hard to gauge kind of how many they had out there. But their grant wrap up is due April 27th, and they've been in contact, and they'll be getting it completed and to us.
Anything else on that?
Nathan.
Okay, on the update on Roger Brooks development in downtown Main Street, I will say one thing on that. I'm thankful of what they're doing in the last 5 years. There used to be 5 and 7, 8 years ago, there used to be all kinds of empty buildings. They're taking pride in that. And a lot of people are going down, are we going to do it overnight? No, but I've seen it jump from here up to here in the last 5 years. And it's amazing. And we appreciate them doing that because it brings people to town.
Yep.
All righty, let's
I
go.
think something that
Nathan,
helped that was I don't remember what it was called, but it was that contest that the community got in.
Yes.
And that got everybody kind of
Mhm.
Fired up.
together and fired up. And they came back and gave instructions. I don't know what that cost, but
And all those lights that's going up,
Mhm.
that looks neat.
It's
Yeah.
looking really great. So.
I've got one question, and it involves this line item in our financials where there was an expenditure, I don't remember the amount, on the downtown signs,
Yes.
and it's as though we're the ones that are doing it. I thought we gave that money, made a motion to give that money to the downtown to make that, I guess that's those wood posts.
It was Durant Main Street and City of Durant who came and requested those together, but part of the approval of their funding was that we would pay the funds directly to the sign depot instead of to Durant Main Street.
What happens when they need to be maintained?
That's Durant Main Street. We just approved for the original cost.
And I think.
I mean, they can come and
I
request.
thought they committed to,
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
city of Durant.
Yeah, the
committed.
city of
Stuff
Durant
they-
committed to
yeah.
that part of it. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Do
that.
we
Yeah.
have that in minutes somewhere?
I'm sure we do.
Yeah, I can go back and look, but I'm sure we do. But it was that we were doing the original cost.
And if somebody hits them,
City of
some
Durant.
car or somebody, and they sue.
Yeah, the city
City
of
of
Durant said they took on all the liability.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything
it,
with mine.
that,
Yes.
John Dean said that's what's covered in the city liability.
Well, I
Yes.
just wondered the way it was put in here. I thought that we had given it as a grant.
We approved the funding, but part of the stipulation was that we would pay Prices Printing because we had already given Durant Main Street their grant funds for that fiscal year, for that year. So
Well, I guess my memory's not.
Nathan.
That's what I'm doing.
that's
All right,
okay.
we got one more.
That's okay. Yeah, we've got to do one more and
We got a
then,
report from the Choctaw Nation Tourism Department, and he's been excited for the last hour and a half, and he's gonna tell us a lot of information. Nathan? Nathan, are you still there?
Are you awake, Nathan?
Nathan's been waiting for an hour and a half, I think. We didn't know we was
He's
gonna
been
get here at
waiting
4
while
o'clock.
you were down there talking.
There you go. Okay, Nathan, I guess if you're not there, we'll expect you next time, okay? One more time, Nathan. All right, we'll see you next time. Any new business? No new business? Adjournment?
I make a motion with adjourn.
Charles made a
second it.
motion? Debbie,
Second,
roll call?
trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Reed,
Yes.
vice chairman Shear,
Yes.
chairman Thornton.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
And trustee Johnson, that is the best financial report I've seen in 3 years here. You did excellent. Both of y'all did. Both of y'all. Both of y'all did good.
I've been here.
Well, you're the one that put it together, weren't you? You did good.